Majors
Real
would
quick,
be
how do you
fire.
feel about
Jonathan
Jonathan
Majors.
Majors?
As a black woman or as an attorney?
As a black woman, mainly.
I have an incredibly unpopular opinion
I want to hear it.
Why you always be prefacing?
because I have hundreds of thousands of people who
Niggas
follow
be
me
watching,
across
bro.
the internet
Yeah,
and
that's a
use
whole
their
fact.
shit and enter like dissect every Jesus
This
Christ thing I do.
this will get her type
Like
shit.
yeah, like it's always a fucking problem. You know what? Ask me a few specific questions. Ask me some questions. So,
Okay,
like,
I got you.
What's your
I got
least
you.
favorite thing about Jonathan
No,
Majors?
not that. It's do you feel like he is actually cosplaying as like a nigga in the civil rights movement? For real.
That's hilarious. That's what you asked.
It's like he's
That's
been
actually
in
a good
it.
question.
He's like been in it. It feels like he's legit like woke up like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Like I can go to a rally tomorrow.
hilarious.
There's a breed of person that's like that. Ray J is like that. Tyrese is like that.
What?
They're all the same to where it's like the prophets in the head.
I think he has PTS.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a nigga who feels like he moves like he's. This shit is crazy. You
But
know
that's,
what I'm talking
bro,
about.
that's just
Do
what
you-
he's
do you
on
ever
right
see
now.
that?
It comes from PTS. Like I think the situation really like messed him up in his head.
PTS.
PTS. It's like the before PTSD. Not a disorder, but like just because of the
syndrome.
Something happened?
because of the incident. Yeah, with the woman.
No, he was acting like this before. He was. Acting
Was
like
he
this
really?
Before. He was. He was.
I don't know.
Creed 3 came out before then. Before the white woman.
That's what everything just made.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
was. I loved that Creed 3 press run.
In Lovecraft Country,
That movie, he died in that
Lovecraft
movie.
Country, he was like that too.
No, I liked him in Lovecraft Country. He killed
Lovecraft
that
Country, he was
Yeah,
cool.
I'm talking about
Lovecraft
like
Country.
okay, yeah, but he was playing that character. I'm talking about like even outside. I'm talking about his slave, his almost yesa messa, you know, that energy. It's on and off camera. Like even when they walk up on him when he's like leaving the gym or something. Hey, John, it's TMZ, trash interviews, trash questions, you know. John, how do you feel that you're not going to be Kane again?
I thought he answered that really well.
Really?
Yeah,
It didn't give you like.
thought he
Let's pull
answered
it
that
up.
really well.
It didn't give
The
you
most
like.
graceful answer
I
ever.
thought it was a great answer. Yeah, I thought he did that.
What'd
well.
he say?
I feel like it was a continuation of that. Just
Can you try to find it? Long?
in Creed 3, there was a moment during his boxing montage when he was dressed like a slave and he was like sitting down, like rocking back and forth. You remember that? He had like sweatpants on and he was like rocking back and forth. He was like,
You sure he wasn't warming up?
I do like that.
No,
It looked crazy.
that's the one that was that
second
one
one.
right there. The second one, the TMC.
That one.
Oh, when-
It's in for-
Hey Jonathan, how are you?
Nice.
I mean, it was announced that Robert Downey Jr. was, being brought back from Marvel to play Doctor Doom. I mean, it looks like he's replacing your villain, Kang. I mean, are you hurt with the new direction that Marvel is going?
Yeah, heartbroken.
You are.
Yeah, of course. Come on. Yeah, of course. I love him. I love Kang. I love Kang.
I mean,
Doctor Doom is wicked though.
Oh, yeah, it is good. It's gonna be good. I mean, both Robert Downey Jr. and Ezra Miller have had a history of trouble with the law and getting arrested for felonies. I mean, you only had a misdemeanor. Do you feel like it's unfair that you're not being given the same opportunities as them?
Damn. I think it's fair that Mr. Downey is being and has been greeted with patience and curiosity and love, and that Mr. Miller's gotten the same treatment, and that they're being allowed to work their art and be creative at that level. It's not. Nah, I didn't really get that. So
Do you wish you had the same opportunity
Yo.
as them?
I ain't gonna lie. That cadence you was talking about, he do got that cadence, but that might just be, like a core confidence.
Does anybody ever give TMZ that much time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens often?
I think, honestly,
They was walking.
here is my series of unpopular opinions about Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Majors' case is I think the most bullshit case that we've like has happened. And honestly,
caught on camera too.
like here's my thing.
Really
Jonathan Majors' lawyers really fucked him and his team, and it really upsets me, right? Because Jonathan Majors, like, this happened in New York City, right? Which is where I practice. Like,
oh yeah.
Like Jonathan Majors, when this originally happens, he's the one that called 911, right? Which, like, I can't express to you, like, I don't talk about this case because the first night, like, I realized people decided immediately there was no fucking space to say anything. Like, nobody gave a fuck about the actual law or anything. It was just, fuck this nigga, to hell and back. Anybody who says anything is an abuse apologist or whatever. And I think in this particular case with Jonathan Majors, it really irked the shit out of me because there was so many viral bad takes. I remember people being like, oh, there's no way he called 911. That's not how any of that worked, whatever, that he wouldn't have been arrested. And it's like, none of that shit is true. People call 911 and are the ones who get arrested all the motherfucking time, right? Like,
and they were the one to call.
Right, and they were the one who called, right?
It's called snitching.
Also, like, in this case, I think, like, regardless, like, if I just tell you how I feel about this as a defense attorney, this isn't about me talking about his innocence or his guilt or anything. Just as a defense attorney who practices in New York City. This is, like, a low-level, like, a misdemeanor of the most, like, de minimis accusations, right? She, from jump, she did not want to proceed with this case. I want to remind you, he called 911. He ended up getting arrested because of all the different series of reasons.
Yeah.
She wanted, and I know this because, so in New York, anytime any accusation is made between two people, they automatically issue a order of protection in favor of who they've decided is the victim against you, regardless of what the victim wants, the complainant wants, right? They will always issue it, and it'll be a full order of protection. But if it's not like a domestic violence related thing, if the person doesn't want it, they'll issue a limited order of protection, which means you can still interact with that person, but you can't commit a crime against them. There's a presumption in New York City criminal courts not to do that for domestic violence stuff. For them to do a limited order of protection straight out at arraignments on a domestic violence case, it means that complainant, everybody's pretty much decided this is a fucking de minimis case, and that complainant has, like, adamantly been like, I don't want it. I don't want to proceed with this case, right? Okay. Which was how his woman was originally. And so if they had done nothing, and I mean nothing, she didn't sign the supporting deposition. She did not want to move forward. This case would have been automatically dismissed and sealed 90 days from the day he was arraigned. But his stupid fucking attorney, thinking that she knows how public consensus works in the present day.
Whoa. She's a woman.
Nigga. This attorney puts out screenshots of like his text messages with her for like people to dissect. You know what I mean? Yes, the lawyer did that, and that immediately turned people like that. Made that turned people against him. That made people hate him, and then they immediately were like, oh, she's mad because now she sees y'all are trying to paint her some type of way, and that's when she was like, fuck them. I want a full order of protection. I want to move forward or whatever. None of this shit would have happened if his lawyer had not fucking done, like, doing nothing would have been more beneficial to him. When I tell you this case is like, this is the kind of case, like, I've represented so many, this is a case I wouldn't have bat an eye about at arraignments. Like, it wouldn't have gone to trial. It's not a case that should even go to trial.
You'll send your little homie on that mission. Like, go handle this.
It ain't no, like, whatever. So it's like, and then what's further, I think, frustrating is, like, in this particular case is, not only, again, was this a de minimis case in the first place, this case should not be a, like, I'm sorry, should not be a people are irredeemable and your reputation worse man make. I'm sorry, it should not be.
And not to interrupt,
de minimis means, like as bare bones, as like small things as possible. You know what I mean? Like the most basic, you know? And so, sorry, that's my fault. That is legally. See, you are not even wrong.
He's the only one understand that.
I mean, context loses everything, but now it's in the repertoire.
So this case shouldn't be that. Like, it's like the details here aren't that. And what basically was determined at trial, what basically he's convicted of, he's not convicted. He's not convicted of like intent assault. He's basically convicted of like reckless while she was like, he was trying to fight his phone and they were fighting over the phone coming out the car, whatever. Her fingers bent, you know what I mean? And I'm like,
it bent her fingers back or some shit like that.
And I think the unfortunate part is, like, Jonathan Majors' team has played this so fucking terribly. I think, honestly, what's very obvious, it's very obvious to me that Jonathan Majors does not live him a black ass life prior to all of this, right? Like he's not somebody that's not the world he
Absolutely
frequents.
not.
That's not the women he dates. That's
The
not the life
Barry
that he
wasn't
lives.
really dark.
Right, and that's fine. And that's fine. Ain't nobody
It's
mad.
thespian.
Ain't nobody mad at that.
So
the
was
thing
Pac.
is, I think what has made it worse is like I think a lot more people is that he seems so much more disingenuous now. If people are painting a narrative of you as though you are like this secret abuser, that you're this person that we don't know, whatever. Now we see you rolling out doing something that don't look real to nobody. This shit, I don't understand who was in the room when they cooked up this Megan Good relationship and
Right.
like having him on all this stuff. It looks
That was his idea.
It looks. I mean, every
don't
part of it looks ridiculous.
But he's trying to get the black vote. He's
And
trying to
But
get the
I'm
black
saying,
validation.
honestly, he shouldn't. Like, honestly, I
Yeah.
think Jonathan Majors would have been better off. Like, I think he answered this well, right? I think he answered this well, like allow like for that narrative to take hold. But the reality is like Robert Downey Jr. is a man who Hollywood blackballed him for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
He
he did
was
his
out of there
fucking
for a
time.
while,
The
yeah.
Ezra Miller shit is unfair. Like that shit is
For
unfair. That's
sure.
some fucking
Yeah.
bullshit. And it's not untrue that there is a disparate like treatment and perception and all of these different things because he is a black man. We know that's the case. That's life, right? Like
Literally,
we know
yeah.
that.
We know that off
That
the
being
rip.
said, like Jonathan Majors is incredibly talented, but because by virtue of who this world is, as a black man, you did something or whatever wrong, you caught up in
You gotta
this.
pay for
You're
that.
gonna take your lashings. He would have been
Yeah.
better off to me just doing it quietly, of
Going
us
away,
recognizing the last thing we
right.
remember of you is your talent. We'll remember eventually when the dust settles. People would have spoken out on why this isn't like fair
Yeah.
or that, or like taking a greater analysis or look at it later on. But because it's wrapped up in all this fucking fake nonsense, this
Yeah.
stupid looking relationship, you in stupid looking outfits, you in all this
Yeah.
fake fork shit, you hanging around with niggas you didn't hang around, it just makes you seem unserious and stupid.
It's
and
too
now
much of a
nobody's.
spectacle
It's
now.
like it's too much of a spectacle
It's too
for
much of a
niggas. Like I'm
spectacle.
like I'm not gonna get canceled.
Yeah.
Like levying
Yeah.
something for you, who seems like very.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like you
Bruh,
not somebody.
did
I'm
you-
not
did
gonna
you-
die in the hell. for
Did you see where he just accepted that award? That nigga, that nigga was bawling his eyes
And
out.
don't get me wrong. I'm
Looking
Black
crazy.
men should
And it
cry.
might be-
He's in his
listen,
movie.
I will
He's in
say
his
this.
dream.
Let me say this. I will say this. Like it is very like. It is very not for the faint of heart being perceived and shitted on by the world. You know what I mean? It is not.
that
It is
one.
not like being like critiqued and like especially think about Fizz. Like that nigga was in the middle of the run of his life.
Yeah,
Think
that's a
about
fact.
that.
That's
He
a
was
fact.
the run of his
He was going
life.
crazy.
He was
Yeah.
about to go all the way
run
up.
It
of
was
his
crazy.
life.
He
And that-
actually got the part.
Well,
He was-
because the Kane Marvel thing
That
was
was gonna
like
take- that was
run
gonna
it
of
was
his
there.
life,
Yeah.
and the fall from grace is crazy.
Yeah,
I
it was-
have
it was a
no
crazy
Was a cankerous
fucking doubt
woman.
in my mind that nigga is fucking depressed and
Yeah, that's
going
true.
through it. I don't believe. I'm
PTS.
sure there is some realness to feeling like the
'Cause
only
he
niggas
did-
who will allow me and allow for space for me. I'm sure that shit is emotional. I won't take that from
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? Is it gonna win you over anybody in the public who don't look at it would think it look phony and look crazy? No, but I believe that the niggas really going through. Could you imagine?
Yes.
No.
It's just
yeah,
fucked up
I-
because
yeah.
he did everything right. Like he worked
Until he
hard.
didn't.
He was good at his job. He ran away from the white woman. He called the police, and he's still getting the discipline.
Yeah.
He's still getting. He's still facing the consequences from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit that first video real quick.
And
What are you
Short.
supposed to do?
And what's funny too is like, did you actually hear the like listen to the whole conversation that they had the recording where everybody was making fun of the Coretta thing? Like the overall conversation, like people was paying like flying off the handle. Like the overall conversation was like so like not OD crazy. It was like, oh, she came home OD drunk, and he's like, I have work. Like I have a serious life. Like you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean?
yeah.
They're doing
I
all
did-
this.
I did
I was
hear
like,
that,
bro,
yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you up like. Y'all ain't never been in the house with your significant other, and they fucking been drunk all night, calling you, getting on your nerves while you sober, living in your house. Like,
But did you tell him to be like a Michelle Obama?
no. I think it's goofy. That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's what the
that's what I
difference is.
said. Is like goofiness and spectacle and all these
Look how
different
hard he's-
things
look how
have like
hard he's-
overshadowed like
Find
the
that video.
actual facts.
Look how hard he's crying in this when
Yeah.
he's accepting this award. And go ahead, yeah, hit that shit.
I don't believe this man has issues at all.
I love you. I love you beyond all limit. With all my strength.
I can't take this serious. Please turn it
With
off.
all my
It's gonna
heart,
make me
I
not be
love
able to
you.
make my
Look at
argument.
those fucking
I'm supposed
tears.
to be this tough and strong when you done carried me so many nights.
Hit pause. That's that slave shit
I
I'm
don't
talking
like
about.
that. I don't
That's
like
that. See,
that.
no, Ole. That's that slave shit I'm talking about.
And it's not
I don't
even-
like-
it's not
I
even
don't like
Southern
that
either.
Yeah, it's slave.
It's- yeah.
Every time he talks, there's a moment where I'm like, What the fuck is it? What's happening right now? Watching an old slave movie. He just falls into this character. But if you
why is she crying?
But if you're crying like
Guys,
that and
that's
you
misogyny
love,
talking.
he said the way that he loves her, I've never heard in songs or movies. Like
No way.
Have you ever expressed that to a woman?
Have you ever loved a
I
woman
didn't even
beyond
know.
limits?
I've
what-
never even. He said, "I love you beyond all limits." I've never even thought that before.
So what are you doing wrong?
Listen.
Why is she not your wife?
Have you ever
I don't
loved
believe
with
you,
all
nigga.
your
Give me
strength?
many a speech. Listen,
Nigga, I don't believe.
I don't
if
believe
I'm
this
out here,
relationship.
if I'm crying on TV, telling you I love you behind all limit, and I haven't made you my wife, this is fake. This
Or
is
at
all
least
cap.
pregnant? How you know you love her that
What
much?
is happening right, bro? Hell no. This nigga is crazy.
You ain't even
dog.
nutted in
You don't
her
know how
yet.
many
I don't
pregnancy scares they
understand
had?
what's happening with the Meg. I really don't get it. I really don't understand like what Megan Good thought she had to gain from this, like right off the heels of
Love.
this past the divorce and
Compassion.
all of that.
I think she might have been betting on a
no,
little bit.
It really
of the,
didn't make
of,
sense.
Of,
like
of
she
the
had
Kane
Harlem.
shit.
Like she was in the middle of like I don't know
Who was
why.
her last boyfriend again?
It was
her last
that-
husband,
it was
Devon
that-
Franklin.
Yeah, it was that Christian.
It was a Christian
guy,
dude?
right?
Devon Franklin.
No, so she
Yeah,
would've-
no.
Maybe she got some of that like preacher's mentality of helping a nigga, and she was also looking for a rebound.
Listen,
So just like
I don't believe this relationship, John. Like I don't believe it. I don't believe it for like a second at
You think
all.
she's that good at crying? Like they're
she's-
that good.
Listen,
She might be
Jonathan
embarrassed.
Majors is a phenomenal.
They might
actor.
just
Well,
really
he
believe
is.
what they
Dang
think.
good. I believe.
Now, Megan
Listen, I
Good-
think like if you're living a life with somebody, listen, if you're living a life with people, whether or not the reasons or whatever you doing it, I'm sure it is exhausting being with a fucking nigga every like whether y'all did it
Yeah.
because for an arrangement or not. Now you've been with him now every year during the worst time of his life. I'm sure that shit is emotional and draining. You know what I
the
mean?
worst,
Like,
bro.
Yeah, you did come in at the low.
and I'm sure she's taking. It's not like she's not taking lashings for being next to him. So
Oh,
she's
yeah.
taking real lashings. So that's some real shit.
and this is what
Well,
really
'cause she
develops
monetarily
couples.
Child.
This is what's really gonna get them through like the next 5 years.
This is the thing.
this is what
when
she's
I
saying.
see him, I see so much.
I think Jonathan Majors
That might be the
on a run.
patriarchy
I think
talking.
Jonathan Majors is gorgeous, but he just
when he because you know he yelling at her too. He in the kitchen. He the type of nigga to be in the kitchen cooking something. It just be like, God, woman, you know what I'm going through when I leave this house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he's in character.
Yeah.
He goes outside to smoke a cigarette or fix his pickup truck. He's doing that at home too. This nigga thinks he's in a fucking segregation movie, and I'm sick of that shit.
He's like in an R&B music video.
Yeah, I'm sick of it, man.
I wish he would just. I wish he would. Like honestly, I wish he could just go back in time and do nothing. Like I never the Jonathan Majors case.
Just that,
breaking
with the
my
situation,
soul
yeah.
because it's the only time. Like I never look at a case or anything in the media and think, oh, I could have done a better job. I never think no shit like that ever.
You never think.
Jonathan Majors case, I'd be like, Jesus Christ,
This
this
could've been a
woman
good
could
one.
Could've got
have
OJ
just
locked up?
not done. No, Johnny Cochran is a fucking mastermind of epic proportion. Like, you know, nigga, I know I couldn't. OJ would have been in jail. Like,
For life.
like what the fuck?
A lot
Like,
sooner,
even
yeah.
Johnny Cochran knew he couldn't pull it off a second time. He was like, if this
Yeah.
is a mistrial or whatever, like. And they do retry this again. This nigga's in jail. Like that was a
Yeah.
special cocktail. Johnny Cochran, like he really put his like, I'm gonna put my motherfucking back into it. Like, this the one. This the one. I'm gonna like that
Full
nigga make
stroke.
my like
He can retire off that one, right?
nigga. Like
He
you
can just lead the game.
think about it. Like when you think about it, if the glove does not fit, you must have quit. Like think about it
Yeah.
like this. There are probably millions of lawyers doing trials every day.
Yeah, doing they spoken
Doing
word.
doing the statement. Do you know a single other bar from any
No.
lawyer's
No, yeah. No,
closing?
not
No,
one.
not one.
No.
That nigga was doing some crazy in the courtroom. You know what it is for niggas to memorize bars out your closing statement
Real
from,
shit. That's real shit.
from 30 years
that
ago?
that aren't
I'm about-
lawyers.
Oh.
Because when you watch
Yeah, 'cause
movies,
I'm about to get up here and really rap to you niggas.
Hey.
Yeah.
when you watch movies and
Ooh.
TV shows, they always make the lawyers seem like the philosophers, like they being there really cooking.
It's so
Yeah.
elegant.
That's
and
not
beautiful.
real life.
Yeah,
Listen, but Johnny Cochran got up there and was just fucking. That
Beautiful.
shit was incredible. That shit was incredible. Yeah, so I said this to say I don't be looking at people's shit thinking, oh, I could do that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Jonathan, mate, this the most mishandled shit I ever seen in my life. Like it's the epitome of like, wow, like doing nothing. Doing it.
The
He
art
would
of
have been
doing
better
nothing.
off if he had had a public defender who just forgot about his case.
Oh,
like had just
Yeah,
not
true.
prioritized it.
Low-key.
You know what I mean? At the bottom of the pile, I swear to God. I swear to God, this is the
Can
kind of
we-
case you're supposed to recognize the arraignment. It's like, all right, cool. Let's not upset this lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You tell your client, not upset that lady. Don't call her, don't da da da. You be
go
nice.
about your business.
I wonder where he even found her.
Can we
I don't
just?
know
Can I
why
just
I'm
watch him
angry.
do this?
Well,
I want to see him do that.
Yeah,
It was
we
too
gotta run
hard
that
for
back.
me. It was really bothering my chest.
This nigga really be on that slave shit, nigga, bro. That shit crazy.
Man, you have to accept that, man. That's just what he is.
Started over.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I
Stop
want to
it,
see
man.
this
That's fucked up.
so much.
Chill out.
I love you. I love you beyond all limit.
How much do you think he loves his mom?
With all my strength. With all my heart, I love you. I'm supposed to be this tough and strong, and you done carried me so many nights.
This is sick.
I love you. Through the fire.
What? No.
Wow.
It literally doesn't get better than
But
that.
that
He
was,
gonna be
but
saying,
that's
like, he-
Doesn't-
That wasn't a
Like,
dub.
that was for her. That was for her.
Like, why does he stay home?
It was
like,
for her.
I just,
Yo,
like,
I have
hear me
never-
out. I honestly, like, it sucks that the world is like this, but I swear to God, Jonathan Majors, when he was on his run right before all this shit happened, Jonathan Majors was around here just giving nothing but fine ass nigga, right? Like doing well, great
Oh, yeah.
actors.
He was
talented.
going crazy
If he
online.
would have
Yeah,
just
yeah.
stayed his fine ass home where your
Michael
last
B.
memory
Jordan
of
type
him
nigga.
was being fine
They
and
were-
talented,
yeah.
and then you would have eventually
Yeah.
reflected on it and thought he was wrong, and it would have been cool. Now the fact that every time he don't even look good no more. Every time you see me look crazy, I don't know what's going on. Like he would, I swear to my God, I bet money if we only
He
saw
lost his
Jonathan
appeal.
Majors here and there, and he looked good, like a stylist had him immaculate, this
Y'all-
shallow fucking world, and he
y'all
was
forgave
shutting the
him.
fuck up. I promise you, a nigga would have revisit this in a year with an excellent video essay, what I would decide to return on how they feel about him, and it would everything be cool. I'm telling you, if he would just sit home and not have done all this nonsense. He's like
Just
because now niggas
objectify
don't take you
yourself.
seriously, and niggas are not going out of their way to defend niggas they don't take
But
seriously.
this is also the hero's journey.
Megan's
You know what I
good
mean?
and
Like
have
he's
dinner
on the path.
time in that
This is
house.
not this.
Like
And he-
Austin
and he gets the
Powers.
biggest pieces of chicken.
This is
Find his
terrible.
He gets the biggest
mojo.
piece of chicken.
I don't know, child.
He's trying to find it. His mojo.
I just had to ask that.
I hate it for him, child.
Maybe we should do like a couple office hours and then we'll leave.
That shit was hilarious.